Welcome to the KariClub.com. My name is Minesh. I'm really excited to bring you my new street food box. It's a feast of all my favourite street foods. It's been months in the making. So we're going to make Bhel Puri, Batada Vada and Red Onion Pakora. So we're going to make Bhel Puri. Now there are many varieties of this you can find on the internet and all over India, but the one we're going to make is with tamarind and date chutney, coriander and mint and a yogurt chutney. It's all about the chutneys, so we're going to make the tamarind and date one first. So the tamarind and date chutney is 4 tablespoons of tamarind concentrate. We're going to add that to 250 ml of water. And we've got lots of lovely ingredients going in like jaggery, ginger, fresh dates, cinnamon, cloves. And we're going to get that to bubble up into a nice consistency. So 250 ml of water. Four tablespoons of tamarind, so tamarind and jaggery are like a marriage. They need to be boiled up together. So jaggery is just a really unrefined cane sugar, and then we're going to put some fresh dates. So just take the stones out of the dates and pop them into the pan as well. As you may have seen from my previous videos or not, peeling the ginger or scraping it with a knife reveals the sweetest part of the ginger right underneath the skin. If you use a peeler, you're peeling away far too much of the ginger. Some of the celebrity chefs use a teaspoon, so whichever floats your boat. So we're just going to roughly chop the ginger. It doesn't need to be very fine because we're going to blitz all the tamarind and date chutney afterwards. So in our tamarind chutney, we're going to put cinnamon, some cloves, and a bay leaf, and a pinch of salt. We're going to let all that cook and reduce down for about 15 to 20 minutes. So while the tamarind and date chutney is bubbling away, we're going to finely dice our red onion and dice our tomato and peel and chop some potato to go with the Bhel Puri mix. So our potatoes are on to boil, our tamarind chutney is cooling, and now it's time to make the coriander and mint chutney, and this is where the kick comes from in the actual dish. So to make the coriander and mint chutney, all we're going to do is blend together in our trusty NutriBullet is some fresh coriander, mint, garlic, ginger, bird's eye green chilli, squeeze of lime and some salt. What I tend to do is put in a little bit of oil with the water so that it retains a really lovely green colour when you're blending it. So pour our beautiful coriander and mint chutney into a bowl. So just finishing off our tamarind chutney now. It's cooled, so depending on your blender, take out all the little bits of cinnamon, but the rest all needs to be blended up. So you've got the fresh ginger in there, the dates, the jaggery. So we've just made a fantastic Bhel Puri. So what we've done is made our lovely tamarind and date chutney. We've cooked that up and then blended it in a liquidizer. We've made our spicy coriander and mint chutney. We've just whisked up a bit of Greek yogurt and a little bit of water to pouring consistency. Diced potatoes, and we've added some chickpeas and red onions and tomatoes. And now we've got the dry Bhel Puri mix. So now I'm going to show you how to assemble it all together. So it's really important when you assemble your Bhel Puri is to mix it and eat it straight away. It's got to be crunchy, the texture, you don't want it going soggy. First, some of the Bhel Puri mix, which is puffed rice and ground flour sticks. Then I add the chickpeas and potatoes, some of the red onions and tomatoes, the coriander and mint chutney. Now this is a spicy one, so depending on your spice levels, how many spoons of this you want, but normally 2 to 3 is good enough. Some of the yogurt, and some of the delicious tamarind and date. This is, like I said before, the master of all chutneys. Oh man, seriously good. We're now going to make the second dish in our street food feast, which is Batada Vada. Now, I used to have these as a kid outside Jamnagar train station in Gujarat. It's a really simple dish to make, but it's so fulfilling, really comforting, and we're going to get cracking with it. So to make our Batada Vada, we take some boiled potato, mash it, and we're going to add some chopped green chili, garlic, ginger, turmeric, red chili, fennel seeds, and some fresh coriander, and make them into vadas. So once we've made our filling, we're going to make our batter, which is gram flour batter, 150 grams of chickpea flour and 150 ml of warm water, pinch of salt to taste. We're going to make it into a nice thick batter. It's got to be really nice and smooth. This is the kind of consistency we're looking for, quite a nice smooth batter, not too thin, otherwise the potato dumplings will just be see-through. So make some round balls of the potato mix, put it to one side. So these you can make beforehand, and when you need to warm them up, you can put them in the oven. So when it comes to frying your vadas, it's really important that your oil is at the correct temperature. So what I tend to do is take any seed like cumin seeds or fennel seeds, drop them in the oil, see what temperature the oil is going to be. You want the seeds to fry really nicely, quite quickly. You don't want them sinking to the bottom. That means the oil's too cold. If you try and fry these vadas or whatever we're going to be doing a bit later in cold oil, you're going to end up with a horrible greasy vada. Whereas if you fry it in a nice temperature oil, they're going to be nice and crispy and much less greasy. So take your vada, roll it in the batter, and then just fry it in. You want to try and do 4 at a time. You don't want to do too many because you don't want the temperature of the oil to go cold. So fry these vadas for about a minute or so, and just until the coating gets nice and crispy and a little bit golden. So our third dish in our street food feast is going to be red onion and ginger pakoras, one of my favourite recipes when I was at the restaurant. Now, this is an amazingly simple dish to make, really nice and crispy. So all I've done in here is slice some red onions, fresh ginger, fresh coriander, green chilies, fresh curry leaves, a little bit of turmeric and a bit of red chili. So what's really important about the pakoras is once you put the salt in, the moisture starts being released from the onions. You want to use its own moisture when you make the batter to get the pakoras really crunchy, and I'm going to show you how to do that. We've actually put the flour into the onions as opposed to making a batter like we did with our Batada Vadas. Lovely squeeze of lime. Put enough flour in so the mixture binds. The things that can go wrong is if you don't have enough flour and the onions separate in the oil, so you just add some more flour. If you add too much flour, they are going to become a little bit more stodgier than normal, but they're still going to be awesome pakoras. You can see the consistency now. The flour is just holding the pakoras together. So little tips are, if you're doing a lot of pakoras or if you come to making them again, you're going to have a lot of moisture that keeps working its way to the bottom of the bowl, and you're going to end up adding more flour towards the end of the mix. The idea is that we don't have to add any extra moisture to the pakora mix because we don't want to keep adding more and more flour to make them more stodgy. We want them to be light, crispy, and really tasty. Really important is this part of the hand. Forget about it exists. We do not want to put them into a little bowl and compress them. We don't want them to be heavy. We want them to be really light. So what you do is you use the top part of your hand. You put your thumb behind here. You scrape the mixture against the side of the bowl, and you just assemble the mix. Not too big because we don't want them to take forever to cook. Now your thumb's here. Don't worry about the bits of onions which are all over the place. You actually want them to be quite erratic in taste. We don't want uniform balls because then that means the flour's doing too much work. We've tested the oil like we had before. Make sure the oil's at a good temperature. You come near the oil and you literally push your thumb If you take too long to do it, obviously this takes a while to get used to. If you take too long to do it, the onions will start separating. You just want to literally shove it in with your thumb doing the work. Again, drag up the mixture, do 4 at a time if you can. So we've just made some fantastic red onion ginger pakoras. Very simple, but it's all about the temperature of the oil and the making of the flour with the onions. Key to a good pakora is, has it got crunch? Oh, street food at its best. So here we have made an amazing Indian street food feast, some of my favourite classics. We have made Bhel Puri with the tamarind and date chutney, coriander and mint chutney, yogurt chutney. We've made the Batada Vada, one of my favourite childhood memories, and then red onion and ginger pakora at the end. So it's up to you how you make these dishes. If you want to make them all together and have a really good feast, that's great. If you want to make them individually, that's good also. But whatever you do, I hope you enjoyed cooking this box, and remember, good food is good mood.